Good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Can we do a roll call, please? Or should I do a roll call?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Chairman Burkemper,
Present.
Melissa Bobin,
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Here.
Alexander Porter,
Here.
Tika Shaw,
Here.
Lindsay Spencer, not here, and Alderman Weggie, who is absent as well. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, any discussion? Agenda is approved. Citizen comments, I don't assume we have anyone online, doesn't look
Nobody.
like it. No. Chairman reports, couple things that I have. And I apologize if this is also in the staff report, but there were a couple emails that came through since our last meeting, both from Ameren to the city. One was regarding a EV ready ordinance, proposing, they're interested in cities like Brentwood having an EV ready ordinance that would affect residential and or commercial new developments to have either be, basically have the electric run during construction to be EV ready. And the other one was a email from the city about potentially having someone from Ameren come in to talk about things that the city can do to try to reduce their energy usage and some of the incentives that Ameren has to kind of help spur that. So those are the two things that I had for this one. Any comments or questions on those?
There are other cities that mandate new construction having the EV-ready home. So could we find out how their ordinances are written and piggyback on their language?
Yes, and I think, so that was one thing that I believe the email that came from Ameren had they kind of have a guidance, document of their own, and then they copied the City of St. Louis ordinance, which they do. Richmond Heights also has a ordinance in place, so they did attach those. And I think the thing that our board would potentially do is, maybe make a recommendation to the city and the Board of Aldermen to consider that, or make a recommendation that they, look into that more closely.
Chairman Burkemper, we discussed, I think, at the very first meeting, and it's been a while, so, about bringing in a representative from Ameren to come in and talk about those and other items. So if you want, we could schedule that for an upcoming meeting.
I think that sounds like a good idea. I don't know, I was thinking about certainly it would be good for everyone here to kind of hear that and see, learn more about it, make a more informed recommendation. I think it would probably also benefit the Board of Aldermen, to hear some of those same things direct from Ameren. So, I guess I could see it going either way. I wouldn't want to ask Ameren to, come and present two different times, but if there's a way to, or maybe the alderman representatives on this board could sort of adequately relay that information to the broader board.
And if it goes up to the board level, we can obviously include in the board document the presentation given by Ameren the night of the meeting, and obviously we can connect them to the YouTube of this meeting, or the meeting that they're at, so they could see the discussion that is held at that time too.
Okay. Yeah, I would I would certainly think that would be a worthwhile effort. I think Ameren was essentially offering, to have someone come and make that presentation. So I would entertain a motion to make that request of Ameren to come make a presentation to this board.
Yeah, I'd second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone. Staff report.
Just want to double check. We jumped over to committee member reports.
Did I?
Didn't know if anyone else had a report that they wanted to give before staff gets into their stuff.
They did. Thank you.
All right. So the first thing we want to mention is that we've I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Is that me? Sorry. So the first thing we want to mention is that we noticed that there's a number of commission members have a conflict for the meeting in August. And so we want to move the meeting to August 30th from August 23rd. And I believe I think Kelly sent something out to the commission members, hopefully. But if not, I'm getting a kind of a confused look from Tika. So.
Right. I don't recall getting anything,
But if you guys are okay, we can, if someone wants to make the motion to move next month's meetings to August 30th, we can move forward with that, and we'll make sure we advertise that and let the rest of the commission members know.
I may or may not be here. It depends how porous Canada's borders are by then. So the 23rd I'll be here, the 30th is iffy.
Anyone else have a conflict on the 30th?
no, I can be here.
I would make the motion to go ahead and move that meeting then to the 30th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
And secondarily, under the staff reports, just a link to an article we thought the commission members might be interested in. We just left it there for informational, so we can, if anyone had any questions about it, we can, or we can discuss that at a future meeting as well.
I would say thanks for including that, but I don't see any further need for discussion at this point.
It's just more informational, so we can move into old business.
Yes. Moving it over. Sorry, the compost program.
That's fine.
Yes.
I didn't want
Yep.
to start jumping in there, but
For it.
yeah, regarding the compost grant update, last time we met, we hadn't delivered anything yet, but this meeting, we've delivered everything. We did 3 rounds of delivery, so a total of 55 complete sets were delivered during July. And looks like the cost, we're over the 7,000, which is what we wanted to do. So we have around $7,200 for the compost tumblers, about $430 for stickers. And then we have Missouri Botanical Garden, an honorarium that we gave to them for the webinar. And then the little kitchen counters, that's a little over $1,300. So right now we're looking at a little over 9,100. And I have a few that are on a list from Rec Center that they watched the video, so we'll order probably another 5 and make it around 60, just so that we're wrapping this up. We still have another phase that would include just lessons learned and kind of trying to figure out if this was the best set that we could purchase, if there's any feedback from the general public. I know a few of you have these now. I wasn't sure if you're using them and if you have any feedback now, but I threw some pictures in there showing the assembled unit and then us delivering them, loading up the bed of a truck, and then Facebook post you probably are reminded by. So I don't know if there's any specific questions on that or if you've had a chance to really produce any compost with it.
Yeah, you just press it. Okay. I had some feedback on the little tumbler that I got to try out, and it's how long has it been? Did I get it from you like in the fall maybe?
Yeah, it was.
Was it in the fall? So I've been using it pretty regularly, and the nozzle of it has now started to leak. Like it's been a month, like it just leaks. Even if I have a little bit of compost in it, it just leaks. And so that's a problem because there's a lot of all that dirty water type of stuff collecting on the bottom of it, you know, wherever I put it, whether it's on the counter or under the sink. So I don't know. I think there's a problem with that area where the nozzle is.
So just probably get one without the nozzle. They do make some without it, so I mean, if we were to use those in
You
the
know what?
future.
I would, and
You could
yeah, I
always
kind of
tilt it
wish,
out.
yeah, I kind of wish that I didn't have a nozzle anymore because that
Right.
thing just leaks now, you know. So I have to like almost put it in a plastic bag and keep it under the counter,
Right.
which kind of, you know, defeats the purpose of having a pail. So
Mm-hmm.
just want to let you know that.
Okay.
I've started using mine. Nothing. It was just a couple weeks ago though, so
Right.
no
Yeah, yours
news
was one of the
is-
last
is
rounds,
good
so I figured you
news.
probably
Yeah,
didn't
but
have
so
anything.
far it's going well.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I don't have any anything negative. I like the tumbler units. I think they seem like they'll hold up pretty well.
And I was going to apply for another round of grants. They're through the end of August. We can submit
Okay.
something to the Department of Public Health, just the same thing.
Yeah, and I was curious on that too. Like, it sounded like obviously we filled up the quota available, and it sounded like there were some online posts that it sounded like some people had called after seeing, you know,
Right.
after there was a post about it, and then that's how they found out and were interested, and they were told that there weren't any more. So, just curious if someone's been keeping that list and whether or not you're going to try to fill the orders for anyone that's interested, or just kind of wait and see until the next round of
Yeah, I know Rec
funding.
had like 4 or 5, and that's why I thought, well, I'll just add those because I still have budget,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, the only
not
thing
that far over what they're giving us, so.
Sure. The only thing I noticed on the cans, the kitchen cans, just to watch, I was kind of surprised that the bottom was like a press fit, into a separate piece, press fit in there, as opposed to just a molded
Oh, yeah,
rounded
like an
bottom.
extrusion. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of gonna watch it, because it seems like it's a potential place for those juices to kind of start leaking out, but no problem so far. I'm just a little surprised by the construction, and no, I've been putting as much stuff as I can in there, but it's, I think it's probably supposed to take at least a couple months, but so I'm curious to see how long it's going to take, but I'm pleased with what we have so far.
Yeah, I thought with the heat and humidity, it would go a little quicker. Some say
Mm-hmm.
like 4 weeks, but I don't know. I've never tried it.
Definitely decomposing, but it's nowhere close to being usable yet. All right, thank you for that report. And update on the bike repair station.
Yeah, that one's mine too. We've purchased it. I did the capital form that we needed to, the CRA. Got that routed, got approval, purchased it from Darrow, I believe is how they say it, but it's the whole station. I included the brochure there just to show you what you're getting. So I purchased the unit that'll include the bicycle pump too. So the basic unit's just the changing tools, but I'm like, well, if you change a tire, you probably need to air it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people carry the little pump. I mean, I've got one for a bike, but it'll have a large pump that's got a built-in gauge that's, weather resistant. The only thing, whenever it comes in, I'll want to try to fit it over by the library and, make sure that there's enough room, because we also have a hoop too that'll get bolted to the concrete pad. So if you wanted to park your bike there, fine, but I also want to leave enough room to work around that platform. So there's an area we kind of picked out that we'll form a new concrete pad for, and we'll mount everything up. It's looking like maybe that last part of August. I know their supply chain and steel prices, I know there's like a surcharge on steel, but all of them were charging a surcharge on steel for whatever reason. I guess there's supply demand issues again, but as soon as we get it in, we'll schedule time to put it in.
So is that going in the east entrance where the old bike rack was?
I was actually picked out an area like near the main entrance of the library, closer to Eulalie. There's a little
Okay.
spot that's kind of not utilized. So I thought, well, that would be a good spot, and it would be, within sight distance if
More
you're
visible.
walking in the front door to
Yeah.
be able to kind of look at your bike.
Cool. All right, sounds good. Any questions on that? Thank you for that. Next topic is the sustainability plan.
So I actually do have one question on the bike repair station. On the air pump, will it fit both types of valves, Presta and Schrader, or is it just built for the Schrader valve?
That I don't know. I can ask. All I know is it's silver. I picked the color. There's like
Okay.
10 different
Yeah,
colors, and it's a powder coated silver.
Yeah, just wondering because like
Yeah,
a lot of
there's
road bikes and that kind of thing have the Presta valve, and then a lot of like your kids bikes and BMX mountain bikes will have your Schrader.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm guessing, they do make ends that essentially fit both. It's like a universal.
Yeah, the
So I'm
two
guessing
in
that's
one.
probably what it is, but it's a good thing to look at in
According
case
to
it's an option.
according to the brochure, the pump will connect or has Presta and Schrader valve compatibility.
Yeah, good deal.
Okay, thanks.
Good question, Alex. All right, moving on to sustainability plan.
I can take this one.
Yep,
So let me try that again. The Sustainability Commission, we held our subcommittee, had our first meeting on July 13th. And so it was a good, robust, about an hour and a half meeting where we did a couple things. We agreed upon the outline recommendation, knowing that it might massage it a little bit based on as we get working in the document. But most importantly, we came up with a vision for the sustainability plan. I did add that this evening, so if you're looking at it now, it is the City of Brentwood will be a livable, safe, and healthy community that promotes the responsible use and conservation of energy and natural resources and benefits the social and economic well-being of the community for the sake of the current and future generations. So that was kind of based on what was in the ordinance that was approved by the Board of Aldermen. And of course, we borrowed from some text from maybe some other ones that we saw. So that is kind of the recommendation from the subcommittee on a vision. And I think we talked about maybe take each of these as a portion at each of one of these meetings. So either one, this could just be for informational, or two, if you guys want to take a vote that you agree on it, we can move forward with it. Or we can kind of present 1 month and then vote on it the next month. We could do any of those things depending on what you guys want to do. This will probably be the smallest and easiest to digest section of this plan in a short period of time. So it might be good to kind of present 1 month and then vote the next month.
Yes, and I do think, regardless of whether we delay a month or not, I think doing it in pieces is probably the way to go, just to make sure, because if especially the way we're doing it, the upfront, the first few portions they kind of feed into the rest of it. If we don't like the vision, that might change the rest of it. So I would be fine either way. If anyone's comfortable voting on that tonight, if you had a chance to review the materials beforehand, that's fine, or we can wait until next time. Any discussion?
Does it matter, like, not to be picky, but it just seems really wordy. That I'm sure it's pretty difficult to come up with this stuff to begin with, so I apologize. But
There was a lot of back and forth. I will say, I guess, that it's not atypical. There were other examples of, the visions from the other plans were similar. There was trying to say, pack a lot in, I guess.
yeah.
We could certainly look into, breaking it up into more sentences, so it's maybe not quite so, so much of a run-on, but there were several different, topics, or I guess items that we wanted to get in there, and that was, this is kind of how we landed on it.
Okay.
Oh, did we lose Alex? There he is.
There he is.
Oh, we can't hear you. Good. There he is.
All right, I'm back.
I think it sounds like all the like things that we would want in there are in there, whether we kind of tweak a couple words, like as, you know,
Sure.
as we go on, maybe
Well, let's do
everyone
this.
can
Let's,
look at it or, but I like it. I think
yeah,
it
if
sounds
anyone
good.
wants to kind of mull over it until the next meeting, come up with any suggested, changes, any suggested tweaks to it, and then we can, maybe present those alternative options at the next meeting and settle on a version. That sound good to everyone? All right. So I don't believe we need a motion
Yep,
for
so we'll
that.
bring this back for a vote on next month.
Yep.
Happy to do that. So next is the Green Dining Alliance. The idea was we had the presentation by the GDA last month and was going to open up tonight for discussion. Now, I know Alderwoman O'Neill's kind of been one of the champions of this, as well as Alderman Weggie. Obviously, Alderman Weggie's not here. We could either discuss if we feel like we want everyone here. We could table to another month. But it's basically just opening up for discussion if we want to have that tonight.
On Brandon's presence, he was one of the ones who was kind of pushing it. It might not be a bad idea to wait until he's here in the next meeting.
So we'll table that and move forward on that next meeting. And then moving on to new business, I'm going to kind of turn this over to Janet here in a second, but I know one of our primary goals for this year was the development of I guess, more robust sustainability page on the city's website. And I think the idea is, since Janet's here, she's, responsible for the website, that portion of the website as a communications manager. And if we want to talk about what we want to see, type of topics we want to see on the website, Janet can start working on those things.
Yeah, and right now, we have a recycling guidelines and resources page on the website, so that's under the residents tab. So that's kind of what I have right now, where we review the city's recycling guidelines, the do's and don'ts, and then got a little section on wish cycling and a number of recycling resources. We list our paper shredding and electronics recycling events. Yeah, so I'm open to hearing what the commission would like to add to that or to enhance other portions of the website.
I think we discussed, a lot of people were asking about like paint disposal, and there was somewhere that you could drive to properly dispose of that. We might want to include that resource. And then it might be a good idea to include like how to contact the commissioner, how to submit a question or concern, if other residents have ideas for us, how to get in touch. That's kind of what I have right now.
I had a question along these lines. If, say, someone wanted to find out if the city is putting their money, as far as investing goes, are they putting their money towards ESG funds, for example? Is that something that we might want to, if they are? I don't know if we are, but if we are, is that something that we want to add to the website just so that we can say, hey, not only are we doing it for this community, but we're definitely putting our money, investing money into funds that are promoting sustainability, environment betterment and stuff like that. Just a thought.
Yeah, so I think my personal thought is I was picturing this to be sort of, maybe somewhere on the main homepage, maybe in the same place, under the residents tab, something that's, basically says refers to sustainability and what the city's doing, and then that would be sort of its own page, and then you go there and it would have a lot of these links, to like the recycling resource, all these other things sort of the city is doing. These pages might already exist, but it's sort of all in one place, like a new starting point for a lot of these. Takes it to the Parks and Rec department, maybe, and some of the things that, some of the events being held, or, takes you to the, on the public works side and some of the things that they're doing. Maybe certainly a link to the Sustainability Commission page, whatever, however that exists. And then, there could potentially be some new topics added. But I think the plan, the sustainability plan the organization of that, might, as we flesh it out, that might kind of help act as a template for, how this could be organized on the website.
That's a really good point, which I forgot to bring up, is the fact that I think we discussed in last meeting and even in the subcommittee that, a lot of what we do, a lot of what's included in the plan would be included on the sustainability page of the city's website. So it's when we talk about checks and balances and reporting, that would be the best place to do it. And as we, talk about getting other people involved, residents, businesses, things like that, that would kind of flow right into the website as well.
And certainly the plan itself, once we finish that, that would be there. And that would contain, I think, a lot of the, I think part of the thing is, just, again, awareness, making people aware. It's kind of a starting place. If you're clicking on it now, you might not think about recycling, and then that's not really what you're looking for, when you're wondering what the city's doing. But that'll be one of the things, listed. So that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know, anyone?
And again, I mean, based on what we've heard tonight and what we could do, what staff could do, is Jan and I could work on kind of an outline for that page. We could look at some other examples through other cities locally and across the country, and then maybe be able to, kind of like the sustainability plan, bring back kind of an outline of, hey, here would be the main headers, here would be the different subheaders, and maybe go that route and give something for you guys to look at a little bit more next meeting, or what is that, August? Yeah, August or September, depending on how quickly we can get that done.
Sure. Yeah, and I think, like I said, it's probably not a huge rush, because the plan, getting the plan sort of outlined out first, probably makes sense to.
But there'll always
make
be
that a
some
lot
things
easier.
like recycling, where you can recycle our recycling drives, things like
Sure.
that, the stuff that's already on there. I mean, there's some things that'll probably be on there no matter whether we have the plan or not, so we can kind of start pulling those together. So I think Janet and I have a good direction. We can probably move forward and come back with a recommended sort of outline for that page at an upcoming meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
One other thought is any other of the composting resources that were in that presentation, since we do have more residents doing that now, we might want to include, I think there was like a number that you could call if you needed help with it, or that.
And we can even put the presentation on the website too.
Sure. Certainly a link to
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
video would be great.
Yeah.
I think the challenge with the video is that we had it as a requirement for
Yeah,
doing it. Talk about that.
one of the things, I mean, if it was a requirement for people to watch, and then we're basically giving it open, you're not,
Tracking it.
we can figure out how to make sure that if we move forward with that composting program, they're still viewing it, and making sure
We
they,
can pull some of the information from it and have it for composting resources.
yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do, but Jan and I will work on that for you guys.
Good, thank you. For new business, I believe. Any other new business that's not on the agenda? I don't believe we had any citizens online. All right. There's nothing else. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, so moved.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, thank you very much.